Hi, welcome everyone to tonight's episode of Sunday Night Thrive. We're joined tonight by Kimberly Rossi. She's the director of Ayurveda at the spa. Kimberly has a wonderful background in that she's both, very experienced with healing arts in the spa world, but also she's done her certification in Ayurveda as well as in yoga. So she's a trained yoga teacher and a trained Ayurvedic health practitioner, as well as a really kind of esteemed background in the whole world of spa and caring for people and taking care of guests. So she brings all that together in a very wonderful, caring way. And she'll be presenting here about one of her favorite topics, which is cleansing in Ayurveda. Kimberly has one of the, I hope it's okay to say this, but Kimberly has a very impressive cleansing record. I do a few cleanses a year, but Kimberly's been doing a dedicated cleanse every year for the last, how many years?
Since Ayurveda school, 2004.
Wow, so that's 14 years of dedicated, regular, seasonal cleansing. And you can tell because Kimberly still looks 30. She looks younger than me. But without much more ado, we'll get started. We do apologize for starting a little late tonight. We had a few technical setbacks, but we are with you all tonight for Sunday Night Thrive with Kimberly Rossi. And with that, I'll let Kimberly take it away. We'll also have room for questions. You can put your questions in the chat box or on Facebook. Hi, Kim. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, could you tell us a little about what inspired you to study Ayurveda in the first place?
So Ayurveda is yoga's sister science and was looking for more than yoga and meditation to have vitality, optimal health and well-being, and lots of energy.
Nice. And was there a particular, thing in your life that really moved you to get into yoga, to get into Ayurveda? Or was it more just an interest?
I had a background in teaching fitness, and I saw a catalog with a woman in her 70s in a yoga pose. And I thought, I'm not going to be teaching fitness like I was teaching when I'm 70, nor do I want to. And yoga was the natural progression of learning deeper practices of mind-body connection. And maybe 15 years later, a postcard came out for introducing a new Ayurveda school. And there was just something that sparked in my heart saying, I have to do that. And my first goal and intention with going to Ayurveda school was to study this science for my personal health and well-being. And as it turns out, I get to share that with others.
Wow. And for those of us who may be more familiar with the fitness world than with the Ayurveda world, what's the connection, and also what's the difference between Ayurveda's approach to health and the modern gym approach to health?
Well, so much, and I've recently reignited my weight training program, and it's a triangle. It's equal amounts of strength training, endurance training, and flexibility. So without having that yoga piece, the triangle is imbalanced. And so as a balance seeker, it's so important to have all of those components.
And how does Ayurveda differ in its approach to fitness and health?
So I feel that Ayurveda, we have this container around us, or I also like to call it our capacity. And so we do all of these different practices. We exercise, we do meditation, we eat healthy, we do yoga. However, if that container is not strong, it's as simple as sometimes practices in, practices out. Also, we do these practices to maintain this calm and centered self. And if that container is weak, sometimes still those external environmental factors can disrupt the inner peace and harmony. So what my experience with Ayurveda has been that it strengthens this container, it expands our capacity. So practices in expands and expand our radiance and our potential, and then that expansion and that sort of bubble around us is also protection from that outer environment affecting that inner environment.
And what do you mean by protection from the outer environment affecting the inner environment? Could you spell that out a little?
Sure. Something as simple as getting in our car and driving to work after waking, rising with the sun, and drinking our lemon water and scraping our tongue and doing some asana and some meditation. And we get in our car and we have traffic and we're late for a meeting and we're completely disrupted and aggravated and agitated. So Ayurveda is this sort of strength around us so that those kinds of situations aren't so impactful internally. Sure, they may be an inconvenience, but in the long run, they're not going to completely throw us off our center and ruin the rest of the day.
Nice, nice. So it sounds like, you mentioned a few things. You mentioned the tongue scraping and the lemon water. Is Ayurveda a very time-intensive process, or is it simple enough to fit into my daily routine?
So I found it incredibly simple. And the rule of thumb when you get started with the practice is to do it most of the time. So that could be 4 out of 7 days a week. We don't want to be feverish and do everything every day. Initially, we take a few practices that really resonate and make us feel really good really quickly, and then we build on those practices. So simple things to start, and of course a focus on diet. We eat 3 meals a day, every day. That is the foundation of our health.
And if there were one simple practice, high yield practice, not so difficult to start with, that you would recommend to people, what would that be?
I would recommend finding out what your dosha is and starting with a pacifying diet. Our diet it's the foundation of our prana, our life force energy. And knowing what your dosha is and learning how to eat according to that dosha. 90% of imbalance, of disease, physically and mentally, is from poor digestion. So we can prevent this from eating 3 balanced, pacifying meals a day, every day. Probably not much different than what you're doing, just some fine tuning and some tweaking to have a great diet. So that would be number 1. Number 2 is sleep. Maybe sleep is, they're neck and neck. Sleep, going to bed at 10 p.m. Because if we don't, we get into this cycle of energy where we get revved up, where that's an important time for the central nervous system and all of the organs to be resting and repleting and rising with the sun. And so if we go to bed at 10, we have a good restful sleep. You want a sleep sanctuary in your room. No computers and TVs and cell phones by your head, a comfy mattress, curtains that close, a dark room. Get a good night's sleep, rise with the sun, and you'll have more energy throughout the day than rising after. So just those 2 basic things. We can raise prana, raise our vitality, raise our life force energy.
And did you notice a difference after incorporating these 2 things into your lifestyle?
Absolutely. I'm a student as well as a teacher of Ayurveda and have challenged all of the practices and played with them. And when we do them, the majority of the time, we have more vitality. And when we choose not to do them, we have less. So it's a choice. It's a simple choice.
Simple choice, simple results, right?
Right.
So could you share a bit about cleansing? What is the Ayurvedic approach to cleansing, and how does it differ from, say, the modern, there are so many fads out there about cleansing. There's a new one each year. How is this approach? What does it look like, and how does it differ?
So the first time I did an Ayurvedic cleanse, we do them seasonally, and I'll tell you why in a moment. My experience was that of physical lightness, mental alertness, more open, and I had to do that. It was for school, and I made a best friend in Ayurveda school, and we decided we were going to cleanse every spring and fall, and we both still do it and call each other every time we're doing it. And I did it because it was an assignment or a task, and I wanted the full experience of Ayurveda. And now this amount of time later, so we cleanse twice a year because Ayurveda says that it takes 6 months for disease to accumulate. So if we're cleansing every 6 months, disease has less of an opportunity to manifest. So we want to push that out of any possibilities. And then we cleanse in the springtime because we've accumulated toxins in the fats, and it's cold, so they stick. And that's why a lot of people get seasonal allergies or flus around springtime. It's the toxins releasing. And we plan that in Ayurveda for our cleanse, and we dispel those toxins at springtime. And then in the summertime, it's hot. We accumulate heat in the blood, which is also not a good thing. It manifests into disease. And we dispel that at the end of or in the midst of fall. So then we go into winter clean. So we're eliminating these toxins in a very gentle, nurturing, highly effective way. We're resetting our digestive fire, which goes out of balance from stress, from medicine, from, unfortunately, some of our foods, if they're not fresh and organic, and they're accumulating at real high rates right now based on how food is being grown and sold. So this is a prevention of disease, but also a benefit of cleaning our minds and resetting our relationship with food and our habits and our behaviors. It's a reset.
And you mentioned that it's very gentle, it's nurturing, it's nourishing. What does a cleanse look like?
So you mentioned about all of these different fad diets, and I do a lot of Ayurvedic consultations with predominantly women in my environment from about 30 to 60. And one of the major focuses for this group seems to be finding and maintaining our ideal weight. And based on what the media is telling us, fermented foods, intermittent fasting, there's things I really have not heard a lot about, ketosis, all of these different things, they're counterproductive to our digestive system, and it diminishes the capability of the digestive system and all of the systems that support that to maintain that ideal weight. So while we may reduce at a rapid rate, we may eliminate major food groups, we may minimize calories, and we get a short-term benefit, one of which is a low weight, most of the time too low. And then what happens is eventually, and in often a short amount of time, that pendulum swings to the other side, and then we have excess weight. So we want this to bring this system into balance through nature, through eating the right foods at the right times, in the right quantities, with the right amount of exercise, to have that ideal weight, no matter if we're 30, we're 40, or we're 50. So these extreme diets are disrupting the digestive fire and ultimately draining vitality and then causing weight gain that is, people seem to be defeated then and disengaged with their health and well-being, like, this is where I'm at, this is what it is, when it doesn't need to be that way. There are some constitutions where eating lightly serves that constitution, such as fruits and vegetables. There are other constitutions where a gentle diet of khichdi once a week to reset the digestive system is satisfying and nurturing, nourishing, and healing. We don't have to, and oftentimes it's not good to miss meals. So those are some of the things that I'm noticing, and how panchakarma how our cleanses will reset the digestive system, but also reset our relationship with food. So food becomes nourishment, and we know how to eat, what to eat, and in a way that is raising our vitality, not draining it.
And I know this is something that I've seen you show interest in before, this idea of resetting our relationship with food. How would you categorize the typical, maybe, person's relationship with food, and how can we change that?
So most of us have stress. And so generally, two things happen. One, we skip meals, we don't eat. Okay, we don't want to eat, we don't have a desire to eat. Or we have the opposite, overeating, stuffing. Even if it's good food, too much food is too much, and it's not good for the digestive system. So in both of those cases, that would not be good for the digestive fire. So we want to learn how to manage stress and manage our relationship with food, as food is nourishment. Food is not, it could be pleasant and pleasurable, but we're not eating to fill a void or to stuff something down that we don't want to feel, or not give ourselves nourishment in times of stress or difficult situations. So resetting food as its nourishment, not eating too much, eating quietly, chewing our food. The digestive process starts with our saliva. And really just taking the time to eat the right quantities, eat a pacifying diet, and getting a lot of energy from our food and naturally being our ideal weight.
One thing you've mentioned a couple of times and just thought we could spell out a little is khichdi. What is khichdi?
It is the most healing, nourishing food. It is a rice, organic basmati white rice, and a split yellow organic mung bean with spices that kindle the digestive system, and with ghee, which heals all of the intestinal walls and is very nourishing for the brain. And this rice and this bean form a protein. So two things happen. One, you're very satisfied with a moderate amount. And two, you're not spending any energy digesting. It takes a lot of energy to digest. And so by not spending that energy digesting, we get to distribute that energy for rejuvenating, for repleting, for raising our vitality.
And could you share a little about the panchakarma cleanses that happen at the Ayurveda Spa and what those look like? I know we have a a few coming up this year. Starting in March, we've got monthly cleanses. Could you share a little about those?
So these programs are magical, and it's such an honor to be a part of these programs and these processes. So people come from all over the country. Either they're well and they're seeking greater health and well-being, or they are at their wits' end. They're not well and they've tried everything they possibly can, and this is a last sort of ditch effort. So people come for a variety of reasons. Men come, women come, young people come in their 20s, and up to 70 I've seen, perhaps a little older. So as long as you're in reasonably good health, this program is for you. So this program is supervised by an Ayurvedic doctor of India, and the program has been designed to be close to its roots, authentic and genuine. So we haven't watered down the program to make it more comfortable. Not saying that it's uncomfortable, but it is different from our daily routine, and when things are different, sometimes we can be out of our comfort zone. But being out of this comfort zone, magical things are happening physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. So you're supervised by an Ayurvedic doctor, and you determine what's out of balance. Some things you may know. Some things may be going out of balance that you're not quite sure of, that can be predetermined by a pulse diagnosis, by checking your pulse. And the check-ins are done daily with the doctor to monitor your process and to be able to change it based on your experience, what's happening for you. The environment is supported. It's limited to a small group of people, around 12 people. And there are pacifying yoga practices. You know, we do yoga. Yoga can bring us out of balance if it's the wrong practice for us. So we do a very balancing yoga practice. We do meditation. And my favorite part is that every day there's a knowledge session by an expert, so that you are learning every day these practical tools and how to integrate them into your life and bring this experience. It doesn't just end when you leave. You're able to bring these experiences back into your life to continue to improve your health and well-being and raise your vitality. There is that pacifying diet. You're never hungry, which is amazing, that you can heal and rejuvenate without feeling deprived. You're not hungry. It may be a little boring towards the end, but again, we're not eating to stuff something or for pleasure. We're eating to heal and to nourish. And that's the part of the process that resets the digestive system and our relationship with food. And after we're amazing spa treatments, authentic Ayurvedic treatments, Abhyanga, Shirodhara, Nasya, Marma, treatments that are pushing the toxins into the GI tract, a nourishing diet to pull the toxins into the GI tract, and then we gently remove those toxins at the end and gently, slowly integrate over a little period of time back into our normal diet.
Nice. And what's been the result or the response from people?
You know, it's so amazing to be with each person when they start this journey and to see them daily in their process and to hear their benefits, their results. They always far exceed my wildest expectations of what people get out of this program. Physically, they feel lighter, they feel cleaner, they're eliminating better. If we're eliminating better, we're detoxifying naturally better. their mind is clear, clean, focused, balanced. This program not only relieves physical imbalances, but also mental imbalances, anxiety, depression, insomnia, lack of connectedness. It dispels those things as well. Emotions come up to emotions that no longer serve our highest, best self. We're able to shed, we're able to dissolve and leave behind. And we're more open to our greatness. But people experience all sorts of things. They experience weight loss. They experience less pain and in their joints. They experience less fatigue, more energy. They experience that clearer mind and less anxiety. All sorts of things are going on that people experience.
And this is one thing that may be surprising for some people. We often separate our fitness and our bodily health with how we're feeling and our emotional state. And yet here we're tying those together. You're saying that going through this cleanse, we're also changing the way that we feel inside. What's the link between those?
So if we don't have ideal digestion, there's no way the mind can be calm. So if we're experiencing constipation or bloating in our belly, it's highly likely we may have a little anxiety, a little insomnia, a little depression in the mind. If we have acid reflux, that burning acid coming up to our throat, we're not able to sleep at night because of it, or we have loose stools coming out, it's highly likely that the mind can feel agitated, irritated, frustrated, overly self-critical. And if we tend to have some excess weight and some mucus in the stomach, in the stools, then it's likely our mind is a little dull, a little bit lethargic, a little bit attached or slow. So there are scientific studies that are correlating the quality of our digestion and the mind. And Ayurveda has known this for 5,000 years, and that's why it's important to A, have our pacifying diet, and B, cleanse, if not twice a year, once a year.
Nice. And when do you have your next cleanse planned?
Probably around May, end of April, beginning of May.
You're making me think I should also start looking at my calendar and setting those dates so that I make sure.
Yeah, we usually cleanse around the same time. You're really good.
Yeah, I should look at April, May. May is good, right?
Yeah, it's nice and warm.
Yeah. So it's been unseasonably warm already. I've been surprised.
Very nice.
So another thing that we offer at the center is I know that if people are interested in learning more about how this relates to them personally, they can also schedule a call with one of the Ayurveda ambassadors and just talk it out about what their wellness goals are, what they're looking to do, and is Ayurveda relevant for me? So you can also check that out online on the same link. You can schedule a call and talk with someone and discover, is this something that's right for me? It's nice to hear about it, but it's also nice to talk with someone too.
Yes, our staff will lead you in the right direction to the right program for you. Absolutely.
Nice. And Kim, you mentioned that we could also do kind of an Ayurveda self-care routine on the webinar tonight. Should we go into that?
Sure. Would you like to do some marma?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So ideally, you're sitting in a chair, your feet are on the floor, and your spine is nice and long, maybe for this session, but it's also really nice to do before bed or anytime lying down. And so just close your eyes, and we're going to use our right index finger Okay, and let's just start on the hairline and just start making very light, like you're barely contacting the skin, little circles to the right. Little circles. Now take some long, slow, deep breaths in and out of your nose, while just keeping your awareness on the point, the hairline. If you know Ujjayi Pranayam, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, making an ocean sounding breath, that's beautiful. If you're not familiar with that, just long, slow, deep breaths. And our next point will be between the eyebrows. Very gentle touch. Long, slow, deep breathing. Soft, gentle touch. And taking right index finger and left index finger, move it to the eyebrows, the inner part of your eyebrows. And keeping your eyes closed, long, slow, deep breathing. Let the body be relaxed. Be sure you're not tense anywhere. Relax everything. Our next point will be the eyebrows to the outsides. Long, slow, deep breaths. Not pushing hard, we're barely touching. A soft touch. Breathing, relaxing. Slowly move your fingers to the corners of your eye. It's a gentle touch, the corners of the eye. Softly, gently take your thumbnails and press softly down on the eyelashes and in gently. There's a slight soft pressure on the eyes. Breathing. And take the index fingers and press the top of the nose. Soft, gentle touch. Relaxing and rejuvenating our face muscles, our complexion. Let the index fingers move to the outsides of the nose so that the fingers on the nose and the face, and gently press out, holding softly. Bring your awareness to your fingertips. See if you can feel a little pulse under the fingertips. And if you do, just notice. And if you don't, you don't. Next, let the left hand relax. The right index finger goes right above the lips and below the nose. A soft touch. All your awareness is on the point, on the finger, on the breath. And take the index finger and move it to the middle of your chin. Soft touch. Long, slow, deep breathing. Take the two index fingers and bring them on the cheeks. Middle of your cheeks, soft touch. And gently take 3 or 4 fingers and place them right on the jaw, on the upper bone of the face. Soft touch. This is one of my favorite points. Just breathing, relaxing, feeling, observing, allowing. Take the index fingers and bring them on the temples. And take the 3 or 4 fingers and gently bring them to the sides of the forehead, on the head. Take the index finger and the thumb and move it to the top of your ear. And just hold the ear. Breathing. Move to the middle of the ear. And the earlobe. And press gently on the ear like you're closing your ears. And touch gently, just a fingertip in front of that, just in front of the ears. And take the fingertips to the top of the neck, the sides. Move to the middle of your neck. and the bottom, the base. Take your right index finger and come under the chin. To the middle of your neck, the little Adam's apple there area. And at the bottom of the neck, there's a little ridge here, right here, and make a little circle clockwise. And this is for boosting the immune system. Long, slow, deep breaths, gentle touch, little circles. You can relax the hands. Let's just take 3 long, slow, deep breaths. So Marma balances Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, the doshas. Marma also deeply relaxes the central nervous system so that the body can go into its own place of natural healing and rebalancing. When you're ready, you can let your eyes open.
Well, it's easy to just let go and go into that.
Good.
Open the eyes at all. It's remarkable how meditative the practice is. It's physical in nature, but it feels very calming and very meditative. My experience, anyway.
Good.
Thank you so much for guiding that, Kim.
My pleasure.
Everyone enjoyed the session, got a lot out of it. Again, if you're interested in learning more about Ayurveda and Panchakarma, the link is there in the chat and comment section. We also encourage and invite everyone to come visit the new Ayurveda Center, which is almost open. It's going to be opening in spring with the cleansing season.
Yes.
We're looking forward to that. Do you want to say a couple words about that, Kim?
The facility is being enhanced so that we can facilitate cleanses year-round. While spring and fall are the ideal times, whenever you can get it done is second best. So this facility will host our Ayurvedic doctors and practitioners, our Ayurvedic therapists, as well as have some amenities to enjoy along your journey. We'll have a demo kitchen so we can teach you how to cook khichdi and other things, a movement studio and meditation studio, classroom, and some water features that you can enjoy in addition to your steam, and you won't need to leave the building.
So for those looking for an Ayurvedic experience, there's really no comparable experience on the East Coast to experience Ayurveda. So it's really wonderful. Thank you, Kim, for joining us this evening. Thank you, everyone. This was a great way to refresh and restart on a Sunday evening. And we look forward to welcoming Val Spies next Sunday. She's the founder and lead teacher at Lotus Pond Yoga in Florida, in Tampa, Florida. Beautiful teacher, a beautiful practice, and really looking forward to that next Sunday at 7. Hope everyone has a wonderful, thriving week ahead, and take care.
Thanks, Andrew. Bye.
Bye.